Believe it or not, one of the complaints I've heard about some of the absentee balloting and mail-in voting comes from some on the left who say that sometimes absentee ballot votes are more likely to be thrown out and not counted, and that mail-in balloting is more likely not to be counted. And that is a concern that whether it's how each state monitors this, or whether there's election watchers that are challenging signatures, because in some states it's a signature match. Is there a way to guarantee that? Because that's a fear that I've heard from plenty, that I want a mail-in ballot, but I don't want my ballot thrown away because they don't like my signature on a given day.
Well, I would tell you this. I think, first of all, you do have to trust the 8,000 to 10,000 men and women who give up 2 days a year for the primary and the general election to make sure that all votes are counted. And I guess my answer to that, and the possible antidote to the concerns that they've raised, is one, ensuring that the instructions sent out by local officials are very clear. There have been instances where there's sometimes been contradictory instructions. And two, I don't think we want to fundamentally change the process where they authenticate and legitimize the absentee ballot by doing the fact checks, doing the signature checks. So again, that alarm that they raise, I think it may be a modest concern, but I would say to you, Chuck, most of that could be dealt with simply by more and better training.
Well, and with all of it, it's not just one way to expand voting. There are plenty of ways to expand voting, including early voting as well as mail-in voting. Anyway, former Pennsylvania Governor Tom Ridge, I know we had a few technical difficulties earlier, would have had you sooner and longer, but I'm glad we got you on. Thanks for coming on. Share your perspective with us, sir. Good to see you.
Yeah, thank you.
You got it. Thanks. Thank you, Tom. Katie, over to you.
Chuck, and coming up next, we're going to go back to Arizona, where cases are rising. You can see the president is in Yuma. There are tons of folks lined up to see him who are not wearing masks, even though it's mandatory. We're going to head back to Jacob Soboroff for an update. Stay with us.
USAA was made for right now. Right now is a time for action. So for a second time, we're giving members a credit on their auto insurance because it's the right thing to do. We're also giving payment relief options to eligible members so they can take care of things like groceries before they worry about their insurance or credit card bills. Right now is a time to take care of what matters most, like we've done together so many times before. Discover all the ways we're helping members at usaa.com/coronavirus.
What can employers do to best position themselves?
With every company in every industry, digital transformation has to be on the CEO's agenda.
This is a game changer. Not having an intentionality right now will be a critical mistake.
Daily insights on the new. This is Business Interrupted with EY.
I didn't realize how special it would be for me to discover all of these things that I found through Ancestry. I discovered my great Aunt Ruth signed up as a nursing cadet for World War II. You see this scanned in hand document. The most striking detail is her age, only 17. Knowing that she saw this thing happening and was enough to get involved and do something. That was eye-opening.
Find and honor your ancestors who served in World War II. Their stories live on at Ancestry.
With moderate to isn't working, Entyvio acts specifically in the GI tract to prevent an excess of white blood cells from entering and causing damage. Entyvio has helped many patients achieve long-term relief and remission. Infusion and serious allergic reactions can happen during or after treatment. Entyvio may increase risk of infection. Can be serious. PML, a rare, serious, potentially fatal brain infection caused by a virus, may be possible. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, experience frequent infection, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Liver problems can occur with Entyvio. Ask your doctor about the only GI-focused biologic just for ulcerative colitis and Crohn's. Entyvio, relief and remission within reach.
Right now in Arizona, the president is holding a table before touring a section of newly constructed border wall. Back with us from Yuma is MSNBC correspondent Jacob Soboroff. He's on the ground, and how effective
Trump there at the Yuma Border Patrol station, and what it calls to mind for me watching him sit there with Mark Morgan and an official from the Army Corps of Engineers, is that Yuma Border Patrol station was the one that Julia Ainsley and I reported on last summer in July of 2019, where we had obtained 30 what are called significant incident reports, allegations of abuse by children in Border Patrol custody. We still don't know ultimately the results of the investigation into that incident, and it should remind everybody of the Trump administration's other border policies in addition to this new border wall that he's coming to tour later today. Those allegations were very serious, and the Trump administration never answered for them. The Office of Inspector General has not told us what has happened yet, but this border wall is only one piece of a much larger puzzle. Very aggressive, very restrictive border policies that have, quite frankly, kept now most people on that side of the border. You know, there's a huge overcrowding in the Yuma Border Patrol station last summer. Right now, it is virtually empty compared to that, and that is because of these restrictive policies of the Trump administration, something that he won't be talking about, quite frankly, when they're touting this wall later today.
And very quickly, Jacob, how much of these restrictions, they're saying it's the virus, but these are restrictions they wanted to put in place and politically couldn't, but have quietly been able to enact in some cases because of the virus?
You've hit the nail on the head. This is what they wanted to do all along. During family separations, they wanted to immediately deport child migrants, turn them around, and send them back to their countries of origin. Now they're able to do that under the cover of the coronavirus. They've expelled thousands of children from the U.S. border back into their own countries, and that is something that they hadn't been able to do until the coronavirus hit. Something they had always wanted to do, which is what everybody should remember.
Jacob Soboroff in Yuma Forest. Jacob, thank you. And Katie, quickly over to you.
The coronavirus forced slowdown on naturalization ceremonies for new citizens is having an impact on the 2020 election. Thousands of would-be citizens will be unable to take their oaths in time to vote. As for the others, time is going to tell as U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services attempts to tackle a ballooning backlog that was already 600,000 deep before the pandemic began. NBC News correspondent Julia Ainsley joins us now with more. Julia?
So, Katie, what's important to remember is that it's not just the fact that these would-be citizens can't get together in the same room and take that monumental oath to become a U.S. citizen. The people who are processing them are largely being furloughed. We understand from sources that at USCIS, Citizenship and Immigration Services, they're having to furlough many staff. Thousands, because they're not getting the fees that they would normally get from the forms that people submit to be processed, not just for citizenship, but for green cards and visas. And that comes on the heels of the news we just got yesterday that the Trump administration is freezing new visas. So that means less money for processing and less processing then for more citizens. So it's kind of a chicken and the egg thing. And the Trump administration is furloughing the workers because they're not getting the funds, but they're taking away the very thing that people would be applying for and paying for in order to make that happen. And it goes back to this point as well. It was a Trump administration's policy goal from the beginning to lower the number of overall immigrants, legal and illegal, who come into this country. And now, under the cover of COVID, they're able to accomplish some of these same goals that they've had from the very beginning, before we even knew the word coronavirus.
Really interesting. Julia Ainsley. Julia, thank you for bringing us that reporting. We appreciate it. And back to you.
Thank you, Katie. Well, that is it for both of today. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for trusting us. Brian Williams picks things up after a quick break.
They are fellow business leaders and technologists. I see all the amazing things you have been doing. You are transforming business models and virtualizing workforces overnight. Because so much of that relies on financing, we have committed $2 billion to relieve the pressure on your business. As you adapt and transform, we are here with the people, financing, and technology ready to help.
Joe Biden is slipping.
Rapidly rising
Now at the age of 77 years old and running for president for the third time, Biden is clearly diminished.
all men and women created by you know the thing. Sometimes I wake up and I think it's 1920.
VPN for online privacy and LifeLock identity theft protection. Backed by $1 million protection package. Get all-in-one protection on Norton.com.
If something happened to you, what would happen to them? Their home, their education, their future. You need life insurance, and chances are SelectQuote can help you get it for less than $1 a day.
SelectQuote found